This podcast is brought to you by Bonus Room Productions, and we own this town.
I am Jason T. Mears, Esquire.
And I'm Kelly Hoyle-Bullock.
And we are Dimas Today. How's it going, Kelly?
JT, it is going great, man. It is summertime.
It is. Living also easy.
Yes.
I'm just going to throw that out there. Things could not be finer.
It's the easy life here in Tennessee.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, man, let's just jump into this and skip all the crappy, witty banner, huh?
Right.
What a couple weeks.
That's right.
It's been insane. Okay, one, we had Bill and Ted Day a couple days ago.
Fantastic. What a great time.
Thanks, everyone, for coming out. That Vinyl Tap in Nashville was jam-packed with Bill and Ted fans, and it was glorious.
Our artist friends really came through for us.
I've got a bunch of prints in the back of my car. I cannot wait to hang up.
So many thanks, especially to Jeff Wilson, Jeff Bertrand, Tim Cook, Caroline Bowman.
Yep.
Is that all the artists?
Those are the ones who were able to participate.
Little wink, wink, nudge, nudge to Andy Vastag. But
next year,
we'll
buddy.
Get you next year, pal.
Buddy. We understand. Traveling abroad, getting engaged.
I know.
Prepping for Bonnaroo.
NBD.
Yeah, things happen. The art is so cool, guys. Check out these artists on Instagram, wherever you can. We'll link to some of those bios on the Facebook page so you can check them out because it's really cool stuff, and we definitely appreciate their participation.
And the piece that Jeff Wilson did is fantastic. And if you're a spendy Bill and Ted fan, you've got some money in the bank account, hit him up.
Yeah,
I would love to have that.
Oh man, I would too. It's really cool. Also, shout out to the dude who showed up in the Napoleon hat with the tub of ice cream.
Yes,
that was just great. That was great.
And then of course we want to thank Todd and the whole crew at Vinyl Tap for letting us have our event
absolutely.
there.
And Michael and We Own This Town for throwing it all together. It was, really all we did was show up. And that's always the best. That's always the best.
Right. And congrats to our vinyl winners.
Yes. Yeah. And I forget who won the actual Newman soundtrack, right? But she gave it to the other.
My friend Leah won and then gave it to our new friend. I can't remember her name, but she had a Be Excellent to Each Other tattoo on her arm. That whole crew, they were Bill and Ted fans and just happened to read about us in the scene and showed up. That was so cool.
It was great. It was great. I can't tell you how fun it is to sit in a room with people that are just into the same very niche thing that you're into, and it was really rewarding. We can't wait to do it again next year.
A friend of the pod, YK record artist Cody Newman, happened to win the soundtrack.
Perfect.
There was no inside gaming there. I'm just saying that was a random draw from a bucket.
Yes. Also, if you are a smallish podcast in the Nashville area and you have a few guests, chances are likely that somebody at your party has been on your podcast and will win whatever swag you're giving away.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. Okay. It was just fantastic.
It was incredible.
Yeah. Excellent song choices.
Thank you. Yeah.
On that.
I needed to bring up how awesome my playlist was.
The playlist was incredible. I mean, I was telling you earlier, Kelly, there's probably 10 people on the planet that I would trust to put together an extensive Bill and Ted playlist. You were one of those 10 people.
I can't believe you trust 10 people. That's a lot. That's a lot of trust.
There is. But, just for that soundtrack, I trust less people, when you're talking about like how to make a sandwich. That's probably four people really know how to make a good sandwich. You haven't earned the spot in that list yet.
No. But I bet I'm number one on the how to make a quiche list.
Yes, you are. Number one. And speed dial. It just, I've got the quiche button and I hit that.
Yeah. Yes. My taco game's getting really good too.
That's fantastic. Now, you still haven't had my eggs Benedict.
That's right. So I told you that I want your hollandaise in my mouth.
Yes. Oh, God. We can edit that out. But we can't edit out the visual of the hollandaise sauce all over your face from my brain.
All right. So, the other big news. Casting updates to Bill and Ted 3.
This is so cool. We are living in a time where there is new Bill and Ted news that I'm so excited. So, they've cast the daughters.
Right. The daughters of Bill and Ted.
Yeah. It's going to be Fia, Preston, and Billy Logan.
Right.
Yeah, so the daughters there. I need to go back and rewatch Bogus Journey just because that's a general state of being for me. But my recollection at the end is they say hello to little Bill, say hello to little Ted.
Right.
This is little Ted.
So
you know,
we had talked about this before, like maybe there's going to be some hilarious storyline to account for the brothers.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There could be. But, that could be fine for like nicknames. I mean, if those are little girls, because they don't necessarily say
you're
the
right.
gender. I mean, they could just be like, this is little Bill, this is little Ted.
You're right. Okay.
So
I'm into it.
my understanding from having seen the movie once or twice, this isn't necessarily a rewrite of canon. Although, before we get into the cast news and talk about the actresses and the actor that have been announced, I want to talk about canon and the end of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Right. We were discussing that, how much of that will be incorporated here in the third film, because some of it doesn't seem like you really can. Towards the end of that movie, almost the entire destiny plays out, right?
Yes. So I think the end credits, the hilarious end credits with the newspaper montage, I think all of that is not going to be canon. I think all of that is going to be ignored. And I think that's okay.
Yeah, I will miss, a Denomalos Missy subplot in the third movie.
For sure.
A bit of a bummer,
but
I can live.
Also, the Grim Reaper winning the Indianapolis 500 without a car.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could run that fast. I mean, gonna miss that stuff. But hopefully some of it, like the Grim Reaper trying to go solo, will be incorporated.
That would be cool, yeah. Interested to see, what the backstory with their band and everything is going to be by the time this... the present tense of Bill and Ted 3 starts, right?
Right. Okay, sorry for that digression.
Oh, no, that's okay. So the actresses that have been cast playing the daughter, so it's actress Samara Weaving is playing Thea Preston, and Samara Weaving is indeed the niece of Hugo Weaving, the actor that played Agent Smith in the Matrix movies with Keanu Reeves.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
really cool.
loving that.
That's really cool.
And then we've got Bridget Lundy Payne playing Ted's daughter, Billy Logan. Now with Samara, she's been on the show Smilf, which I have not seen. And then it says here that Bridget has been in the films Atypical and Action Point. At least I think they're films, maybe they're TV shows.
Yeah, I don't.
They've been in stuff that I just don't know.
I think Atypical is that the Netflix show? I think that might be a Netflix show.
Sounds right.
Yeah, and I've heard good things. I'm gonna have to go back and check this stuff out. Just do due diligence here.
Yeah.
Check out their chops, see how it's going, but. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Everybody with the project is excited about it. I know that there's this automatic hype thing that goes on when you're promoting a movie, but we're still like now just in production, barely. And we're not at the press stage where everybody's like, oh, this was great. To have like Alex and Keanu and Ed Solomon all out there saying like, so excited for these people. This is going to be great. I think it's a really good sign.
You get kind of the feeling they're going to be like a foursome in this film.
Yes.
From everything I've heard and read.
That would be very
Time
cool.
traveling cohorts that's been used.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Yeah. And so we've got our next bit of casting that just came out, yesterday? The actor Scott Mescudi, also known as Kid Cudi. He's a hip-hop artist as well. He's in an undisclosed role, so we don't know who he's playing. I really am only familiar with him in the short-lived HBO series, How to Make It in America.
I heard he was really good.
And he's really good. Like Lake Bell is a star of that.
Oh.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yes.
And so, and I'm not super familiar with all his tunes, though I know one of his hits.
I know one of his songs, "The Pursuit of Happiness," because it was on a loop in the Mears household for a solid 3 weeks, thanks to my wife and my daughter loving it so much. Solid tune. What was interesting with that casting was Alex Winter on Twitter, reposted the Deadline. I think it was Deadline announced it. He's like, so happy to have you on board. I remember talking about this with you 5 years ago. Glad we can make it happen. Which means a couple of things. Like, he came out later and was like, this was my childhood. I'm so excited to be a part of it. So I don't know if they met at some point and they talked about like, how he was a big fan and he'd love to be a part of it if it ever came on. Or if they had some sort of conversation with like him describing who he would like to play. This could be like a Taj Mahal type cameo. I don't think that's going to be the case because I don't feel like they would have made an announcement like this for a small part like that.
Yeah.
Or he could be playing like one of his musical idols from the past.
Right.
Like maybe a Chuck Berry or something, which would be totally cool. Or he could be playing one of the the boyfriend of one of the daughters.
We can speculate all day.
We totally can, but we don't have that much time for our listeners. So we will continue speculating offline and then maybe bring some of that better speculation back.
Right.
But it's so great to be living in a time where we actually have tangible casting news.
Yeah. Alex Winter also tweeted like a photo of one of the storyboards, I think. So you just saw one little sketch, which was cool.
Right. It was an angle up at their faces from the ground, and they're both saying, whoa.
Yeah.
Which I think they nailed the tone.
Revisiting that one, are they?
Yeah. So cool. Cool.
And as far as I know, shooting still starts happening at the end of this month. So maybe a couple weeks away from it.
Yep.
From the last I saw Solomon tweet, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really, really exciting.
We'll stay tuned for. I imagine what's going to happen here in the coming next couple of weeks, since we're so close to shooting, is we're going to be getting more and more casting updates. Mm-hmm. So very excited to find out who else is going to be involved.
Yeah,
and to hear about Helen Mirren being casted as Rufus's daughter.
Yeah, and Timothy Oliphant as
Deacon Logan.
As Deacon Logan. I mean, it's got to happen.
Like, I'm pretty sure Timothy Oliphant in the movie Go is already Deacon Logan.
Oh, for sure.
He's grown up Deacon Logan there. So.
Yeah, he is.
Okay,
he is. That's canon. That is canon. What we were going to talk about, and we'd planned for a while to talk about on this episode, time travel, and we were re-inspired to do that by our interview with Noel Murray, who's, again, just fantastic.
Yeah.
That guy did so much research.
Right.
Because of that, we really wanted to delve into the rules of time travel and different time travel universes. We are going to do that, just not today, because something else is blown up that really just needs to be discussed.
Yeah, and I think we've perhaps coined the phrase, at least in my opinion we have, but it's the Keanussance.
Yeah, the Keanussance.
Keanu Reeves, he's everywhere. He's never been bigger in pop culture than he is right now.
It's amazing. I mean, so on Instagram, I follow Bill and Ted, the hashtag. Every day my Instagram is just filled with photos of Keanu, and it has been forever. I mean, if you 9 out of 10 Bill and Ted Instagrams are going to be pictures of Keanu, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Handsome man. Totally get it. But what he's got going on now and how he's captured the world's imagination is mind-boggling.
So it's not quite like it is with McConaughey and the so-called McConaissance, right? Because you had a period of years where it was just bad movie after bad movie after bad movie, and then all of a sudden he had good projects again. Mm-hmm. Keanu has not really had a down period to that extent, I don't feel.
He's had some less successful films than others.
Yeah.
But he's pretty consistent in his hit-to-miss ratio.
Yeah. And even that block of period, he said when he did not agree to do Speed 2 and got blackballed for a while, he still found some pretty decent projects in there, Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. The dude throughout his career has tried to make some stretches. Probably Dracula was not the best use of his talents?
Maybe not, but I look at that movie differently now than I did then. And the camp of it, I almost think his performance is not as bad as you think. I think maybe he might have understood what was going on more than anyone in that movie at the time.
And I'm willing to believe that at this point. I've not gone back and watched it. Gary Oldman also. I mean, Gary Oldman totally got what was going on there.
For sure.
But let's talk about what Keanu's got going on right now.
Yeah.
Couple weekends ago, you and I went to the movies, Sunday matinee. We sat through way too many previews and advertisements because we're old men and don't understand how the theater works anymore.
Right.
Evidently, you just show up right before the movie.
Yep.
As opposed to...
Because your seats are reserved, which is mind-boggling.
Yeah. By the way, I hate to be down on anything, but after being forced to watch 7 or 8 previews for the TNT show Claws, I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
Thanks... theater for making me sit through those.
I guess that marketing works on somebody.
I mean, it might. Anyway, John Wick 3. Great. Fun movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A blast. I would, I guess at this point, I feel like it's my second favorite John Wick movie. I think John Wick 1 is still my fave, then the third one, then the second one.
Interesting.
But I like them all.
Yeah.
With the third one, though, I mean, it just taking killing people to another creative level, unreal.
The knife fight.
Toward
the beginning of the film.
The knife fight in the knife store.
When they're pulling the knives out of themselves and throwing them back at people. I didn't know that was something I needed in my life. But now I have it and I'm complete.
It's great.
But I saw an even better Keanu movie than John Wick 3. Always Be My Maybe.
All right.
It's a Netflix rom-com.
Would you call that a Keanu movie?
I would say, I mean, he's in it for 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. All right. That's a decent amount of screen time.
And he steals the show.
Okay.
He steals the show.
He's the Anthony Hopkins of the film. He's the Hannibal Lecter.
He is. He shows up midway through, and then those 15 minutes are all about him.
Okay.
And he's playing like a really, really...
like a jerk version of himself?
Yeah, a jerk version of himself. Kind of like Michael Cera in that one post-apocalyptic movie.
Yeah. Yep. This is the end?
Yeah, this is the end. Amazing. This guy just does a great job. If you have any tolerance for rom-coms, which I generally kind of like, it's really, really funny, like even without Keanu, but Keanu parodying himself in this movie is totally worth it. It's so fun.
It's perfect timing, really, right?
It is.
Because, the perception of Keanu now is just, thoughtful, humble guy, right?
Right.
Using his success properly, knows how to take photos with women he doesn't know.
Right. I'm glad to see that. This is circulated back into the public consciousness, but a year or two ago, they were showing all these pictures of Keanu with women where his arms are very visibly like behind the women, but not touching them. So it looks like they're embracing like a pose photo, but he is respecting their space, and good on him. Good on him. Treating people how they need to be treated and showing others how to do it too.
Right. Videos are popping up. He was on a plane ride that they had to land in like Bakersfield or something and then take a bus to LA, and there's videos of him helping everybody out.
You said it earlier. I mean, move over Bill Murray.
Yeah.
He's done. Keanu's in the house.
And probably a much less checkered past than Bill Murray.
That may be true. Other projects this guy's got going on. Toy Story 4, he's in that.
Oh, I'm all in.
Keanu Reeves could be rivaling like the all-time greats for the most vinyl pop figurines.
Ooh. That's a good call.
Because I saw that they got one for his Duke Kaboom or whatever his character is in Toy Story 4, but he's got to have a ton with Neo and Ted.
Constantine.
Yeah. I mean, there very well could be. But, I mean, dude's got a lot. Also, something I'm very stoked about with Keanu, recently just announced that he's going to be a major part in the new video game by CD Projekt Red.
Right,
which, they are the development or the studio that made my all-time favorite video game, Witcher 3. This is going to be amazing. And evidently Keanu is an integral part to it. So it's not just some guy who shows up in the first 20 minutes and then you kill or then disappears till the end. He's kind of stuck inside the protagonist's brain.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
There's going to be a lot of Keanu in this.
I might actually have to play a video game again.
You might have to.
Something that's not a pinball machine.
Yeah,
huh?
well.
But could we get the Keanu pinball machine? That's maybe what I need in my life.
Oh, yes.
Just represent all of his movies in one pinball machine?
That would be amazing, yes. Somebody get on that, please. Somebody get on that. Also, product placement, something else you forwarded around earlier, the Bill and Ted phone booth replica.
Yeah. So this company that constructs modern phone booths, starting at around $6,000.
Yeah.
They are now taking pre-orders for a Bill and Ted phone booth, and it looks spectacular.
It really does.
If I had money to burn.
Yeah.
Is that would we be poor taste to start some sort of GoFundMe to get one for us? Is that
I don't think I think as long as you're not
I'm pretty sure we're not going to raise
any money.
Yeah,
any money, but
I just don't want to disrespect our audience here.
Fair enough. I mean, they have better taste than to send us money for a replica phone booth. As far as GoFundMe's, I think you're okay as long as you don't use a hobo to perpetrate fraud.
Okay.
I think that's the line.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there goes that idea, right?
So this hobo needs a phone booth.
Forget it.
Yeah. I'm out of here. Podcast over. Another article I read about Keanu, because you can't, you can't get on the internet yet. CNN ran another article talking about 5 things that Keanu needed to do now that he's the internet's boyfriend. A lot of them were just BS, but one was a really intriguing idea. I don't know if he should do it or not, but they suggested that Keanu needs to be in a biopic now.
Okay.
And I would like to know, Kelly, who you think he should maybe play in a biopic.
Yeah, I've been trying to give this some thought because it's tough. Because Keanu is Keanu, you know what I mean? I wouldn't call him a character actor.
No.
I liken him more to, I know we could compare Tom Cruise, I guess. Just the same sort of, there's a bit of him in everything, right? Mm-hmm. That being said, I was trying to think like, my mind goes towards like maybe playing a 90s grunge musician. Maybe that's because, movies like My Own Private Idaho and River's Edge, mm-hmm. I just associate him, and he's that age. He's the age of those guys and those bands.
Yeah.
And so maybe, I don't know, maybe a Chris Cornell biopic.
Okay, yeah, I can totally see it.
Grows hair out even longer.
Yeah, I mean, like he kind of had that look at the end of Bogus Journey.
Similar facial hair.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes, he did. What about you? What are you thinking?
This might be a stretch, but I could actually see him doing like this wouldn't be a full birth to death, walk the line type biopic, but maybe a picture in time, one of those that's like, here's a significant portion of one artist's life, maybe with Townes Van Zandt,
Could maybe see that, yeah.
Because I was trying to factor in things like it hasn't really been done too much, but Townes led a very interesting life, obviously, but I feel like his story might be better for that. I doubt Keanu would do the singing. I mean, it's hard to get a guy like that to do a biopic because, like you were saying, he brings so much of himself into every role.
Yeah.
Some people, that's because they're a star, like Tom Cruise. Some people, it's just they have this presence.
I was trying to think of movies with actors like that are where there's a successful biopic, and we were talking about it earlier, but the first one that comes to my mind is Aviator,
right?
Because it's DiCaprio, and DiCaprio is kind of the same way. There's just he's not gonna bury his DiCaprio-ness away when he's portraying somebody else,
right?
But him playing Howard Hughes, I mean, he deserved an Oscar for that film. It was so good. So I think Keanu could do it.
Yeah,
it's got to be that right personality.
Yes. Also, I'm really tired of biopics.
Yeah,
I'm really tired of them.
I think it's time to to watch Walk Hard again.
Oh, for sure. I mean, anytime I get too much of that, I just put that movie on and let it wash over me, and I feel you never paid for drugs once, not once.
What could be fun would if you had like a bonus feature on a Bill and Ted Blu-ray, as if there was a biopic of Bill and Ted starring Keanu and Alex Winter.
That would be great. That would be great.
Like a Wild Stallions biopic, right?
Oh, perfect. Another thing, like you were reading an article by respected writer Stephen Hayden, right?
Yeah. So Stephen Hayden wrote for AV Club. He writes for Uprocks. He's written a couple of excellent books. He's got a new one that he's writing with Steve Gorman about the Black Crowes, which I'm so excited about.
That's going to be great.
He wrote a sort of a tribute to Keanu and Speed. The premise was that, Speed made him the action star that we know him as today, which is great, and it's totally fair because that was by far and away.
I don't think he was in far and away. I think that was Tom Cruise.
That Irish accent, Jesus Christ. Oh man. But he Speed, at the time, still one of the most successful movies he's ever been in. One of the biggest box office. If you compared the amount it made then to what the value would be now, it would be huge.
I mean, probably Matrix beat it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I'm sure that it did. The article did not reference Point Break at all, even when it mentioned the movies he did that preceded it. He mentioned that at that point everyone mostly knew him from Bill and Ted, which was totally valid. I think Point Break probably had more to do with him being cast in Speed than any other movie he had done.
Absolutely.
Because that to me validated him as an action star. When you're jumping out of an airplane with no parachute, with a gun in your hand, and somehow swim through the air to track down Patrick Swayze, that's action, baby. That is action.
Catherine Bigelow knows how to direct a film.
Yeah.
Knows how to direct a film.
Yeah.
And listen, he doesn't get Speed without Point Break. Point Break is really the but-for reason that he became an action star.
Right. Speed was definitely made for a much wider audience than Point Break.
Yes. Yeah. Speed is a fun movie. Mm-hmm. It is a fun movie. You don't want to think about it too much. Not that you really want to think about Point Break too much. But I can tell you this. I still remember his character's name in Point Break. I do not remember his character's name in Speed. Johnny Utah. I mean, right?
Yeah. You can't forget Johnny Utah.
That is... I actually worked with an attorney at my old firm whose dog's name was Johnny Utah.
Yeah. Sure do wish Patrick Swayze and Keanu could have made more movies together. They were so great together.
They really were.
Yeah.
They really were.
I bet that would be a fun hang, after shooting's done.
Yeah, I would hope so. Man, yeah. Now I'm sad because Patrick Swayze's dead.
Yeah. Man. Miss that guy.
Yeah, so do I. He's a good dude.
I feel like there would have been a good role for him in the Bill and Ted movies.
Absolutely.
All right, so I think that does it for another episode of Season 2 of San Dimas Today. As always, we want to thank Michael Eads. We own this town.
Scott Bricklin and Scooby Tunes Music for the use of the most excellent theme song, Walk Away.
And we really want to thank you all again for coming out to Bill and Ted Day and being so excellent to us and each other.
And we would like you all to please party on, dudes. and it's Cuddy, right?
Cuddy, Kid Cuddy.
Okay.
There's even a YouTube video that tells you how to pronounce it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It just says Kid Cuddy.
Yeah.
Kid Cuddy. Kid Cuddy.
Beautiful.
Scott Muscuddy. He's the Kid Cuddy.